Hello, this is Stacy Blake, and this is the 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. part Ashtanga and part Yin for Presence of Mind Wellness Center. Before we start, you may want to get either a block, and if you don't have a block, just get any kind of blanket that you can fold for our class. This will be for the Yin part of the class. So the first 30 minutes of this class is the standing series of Ashtanga yoga. It's a very older style of yoga, and it has to do with your breath. Each movement is combined with your breath, and you breathe 5 breaths in between each pose. So I'll be breathing with you throughout the class. I'll also count so you'll know when the last breath is to be taken before we move out of that posture. And if your breath isn't with my count or my breaths, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and go at your own pace. And if at any time you feel uncomfortable in a pose or you feel like you're losing your breath, it's okay to come out of it and go into child's pose. The most important thing about any yoga practice is the breath. It's not about the poses. Even though the poses are very beneficial to your body physically, it's more of a mental practice. So you really have to watch your mind. It'll try to trick you into saying that you really need to reach for that pose or really need to stretch or go into that full pose, and that's not true. The most important part of this practice is the breath. We do talk about that a lot. And another thing, the reason why it's very important is, like in our normal classes, I'm there to supervise you and to make sure that you're not out of alignment. And your body will tell you if you're out of alignment. It won't feel good. It won't feel comfortable. So it's very important to listen to your body, listen to your breath, and make sure that you're practicing safely. The second part of the class is Yin. So there is no breath pattern. There's no 5 breaths and then you're out of the pose. A Yin pose will normally last. It depends on the class you take. I've heard they can take up to, hold a pose for 10 minutes. We won't do this in this class because we only have a half an hour. Generally, the poses that I choose for this class can be held about a minute, up to 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes. But again, if you're uncomfortable in any pose, I'll try to give you variations. But if you're uncomfortable, just come out of that pose and go into whatever pose your body's feeling for, and whatever pose your body's calling for. And just a side note, I think my dog's getting used to me teaching these classes, but he's in this room. He's taking a little dog nap now, but he might pop in the camera here and there. He likes to make an appearance sometimes. So just wanted to give you a heads up that might happen, but he's just this big, so he's not gonna be too much of a disruption. So hopefully you were able to find a block or a blanket, and let's start the class off. Let's start by sitting in a comfortable position, cross-legged position, any way that is for you. Take a couple of breaths and settle in. And let's just close our eyes. Take a few deep breaths in, all through the nose, exhaling through the nose. So the breathing pattern is inhaling fully till your chest, your lungs, the top of your lungs are filled with oxygen. And the exhale is just bringing all that air out, all the way to the bottom of the lungs. And it's all through the nose. If you can just imagine holding a mirror up to your nose, fogging it up, starting to feel the chest expand from front to side, from front to back, and side to side. And just really focusing on how that breath feels entering and exiting your lungs. And just noticing that your mind will tend to wander. Maybe what happened earlier today, or yesterday, or last week. Or maybe it'll wander on what's to come the next hour, tomorrow, next weekend. And the point of this practice today is to try to keep you where you are on your mat right now, because right now is the most important part of your life. And tools to do that is using your breath, using the sensation of the air on your skin, just feeling that sensation, feeling your body on the mat, listening to sounds in your room, the sounds outside of your room. Those are all tools that will help you bring your mind to where you're at right now. And so we'd like to start our classes with an optional Om if you'd like. Inhale. Om. And let's gently open our eyes. We'll come to standing at the front of our mats, starting off with the Ashtanga series. So our toes are together, our heels are slightly apart, standing up nice and tall, shoulders are back. You can have your hands to your sides, or you can have them in front of you, whatever's comfortable for you today. Take a couple of breaths here. Exhale fully. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back and lower down. Keep your elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Just feeling the weight of all of the front of your hands, the inner parts of your hands, the outer edges of your hands. Same with your feet. Inner edges of the feet, the same weight distributed as the outer edges. It's about 3 breaths. 4. And 5. Inhaling your feet to the front of the mat. Head comes up halfway. Exhale, head down. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale. Good. We're going to do this 2 more times. Deep breath in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back. Lower down. You can use your knees if you need to. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. Now just notice the position of your feet. Make sure they're not too close together or too far apart. They're a little bit wider than hips distance. Feeling the chest reach towards the mat. Again, about 3 breaths so far. 4, exhale all the way out. And 5, inhaling your feet to the front of the mat. Head comes up halfway. Exhale, head down. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale. Last one. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, back, lowering down, keeping your elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Your hips are reaching towards the ceiling. 4 and 5. Inhaling your feet to the front of the mat. Head comes up halfway. Exhale, head down. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale. Sun salutation B. Bend at the knees. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the front of the mat. Arms reach up. And exhale, hands go to the mat and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling the left foot to the front of the mat. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lower down using your knees if you need to. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now if you find you're out of breath or your breath isn't even, inhales and exhales, go ahead and put your knees to the mat. Just go down into child's pose at any time during this practice if you're out of breath. And join us when you're ready. 3, 4, exhaling all the way out. And 5. Inhaling your feet to the front of the mat. Head comes up halfway. Exhale, head down. Bend at the knees. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. One more of these. Bend at the knees. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the front of the mat. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, in front of the mat. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 deep breaths. Up halfway. Exhale, head down. Bend at the knees, arms reach up. And exhale. Very good. So we're going to stand at the front of our mat. Our feet are about hip distance apart. Take a deep breath in, shoulders back, and then exhale, folding forward. You can bend your knees as much as you need to grab your big toe. Both of your big toes with your first 2 fingers and thumbs. Inhale, head up halfway, and Exhale, just let your head dangle. And then straighten your knees out as much without too much of a stretch. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale your head up halfway. Exhale, placing the palms of your hands under your feet. Inhale your head up halfway, and exhale again. Your head is dangling away from the shoulders, ears away from the shoulders. Deep breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale your head up halfway. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands and feet to the front of the mat. Good. Inhale out to 5-pointed star. Then point your right toes to the back of the mat. Inhaling, coming over, placing your hand on the upper thigh or below the knee. Left arm is reaching towards the ceiling. Triangle pose for 5 breaths. 1, 2, both legs are straight. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pointing your left toes to the front of the mat. Both legs are straight. Inhaling, reaching over. Left hand is in the air. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pivoting the hips and the feet towards the back of the mat. Both legs are straight. Inhale, the chest out, and exhale, your left hand over your right leg. This is revolved triangle. So you can either have your right arm in the air or on your back for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, look down first. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pivoting to the front of the mat. This time your left toes are pointing, hips are pivoted in the direction of your toes. Inhaling the right arm up and exhaling the right hand over the left leg. The other side for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, look down first. Inhale, come up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands and feet to the front of the mat. Good, again. Inhale to 5-pointed star. Exhale, bending your right leg. You can either place your right elbow on your right thigh and bring your left arm up, or if you have room, you can bring your right hand to the mat for 5 breaths. That back foot is flat on the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, going towards the front of the mat, bending the left knee. Inhaling the right arm up for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pivoting the hips and the feet towards the back of the mat. Your right leg is still bent. Back leg is still flat on the mat. Inhaling the left arm up. Exhaling your left elbow to your right thigh. Putting your hands together. Just give give them a little press. 5 breaths. 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, look down first. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to the front of the mat. This time, bending your left knee. Make sure your hips are square. Inhale, the right arm up. Exhale, the right elbow to the left knee. Hands come together. 5 breaths. 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, look down first. Inhale, come up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands and feet to the front of the mat. Good, again. Inhale out to 5-pointed star. Face this way. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale the chest forward. And exhale, bringing your hands to the mat or a block or a blanket. Exhale, folding forward. We'll take 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale your head up halfway. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Good. Inhale, chest out. And exhale, folding forward, keeping your hands on your waist for 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up, and exhale. Good. 2 more like this. Inhale your arms out. Exhale your hands. You're going to clasp them behind your back like this, or you can grab clothing. So inhale the chest out, and exhale, fold forward. You can have your hands on your back if that's too much of a stretch for you. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhale, release the hands. Good. 1 more forward fold. Inhale the chest out, and exhale, going down the legs, grabbing your toes, your big toes with the first finger and thumb. Inhale the chest out, and then exhale, folding forward, shoulders away from the ears. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale your head up halfway. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands and feet to the front of the mat. Good. 1 more. Inhale out to 5-pointed star. Exhale, you can clasp your wrists or clothing. Grab your elbows, or you could do your hands in prayer. I'm just going to grab the back of my elbows today. Pivoting towards the back of the mat. The hips and the feet are square with each other. Inhale your chest forward, and then fold over your right leg, keeping both legs straight. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, pivot to the front of the mat. Again, both legs are straight. Inhale your chest forward, and exhale over your left leg. exhale, release the hands. Inhale, hands and feet to the front of the mat. So we're going to get into balancing poses. We're going to just do one balancing pose today, just for time. So we're going to really ground into our left leg. The full pose is grabbing your big toe, leaning forward. I'm going to give you some options though. So it's really about ankle strength. So we're really starting to put our weight and grounding our weight into our left leg. It also helps if you stare at a point on the floor kind of parallel to your nose. It's called dristi. So one option is to just stand on your left leg and just have your toe on the mat. And if you're wobbly here, it's fine to stay here. If you feel like you can bring up your right leg, you can hold it under your thigh, or you can hold your leg under your knee. So let's start in your position. So on an inhale, lift your leg up however you do. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lift up. Exhale your leg out to the side. You could do this on the mat, holding your leg, whichever way you would like to do today. It's about 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling your leg forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, point your toe. 5 deep breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release. If you fall out of your balancing pose, it's bound to happen. Everybody does it. I do it all the time, and not a big deal at all. Just get right back into it, and it's normal. If you don't fall, like I'm having a good day today, so don't worry about it. So going in, putting all your weight in your right leg this time. We're going to the other side. So however you did on that side, you can balance and have your left toe on the mat. You can lift your left leg up or under your knee, or you could grab your big toe. Let's start now. Inhale and exhale. 5 breaths. One more deep breath. And exhale, lengthen. Inhale your left leg out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale your leg forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, point the toe. 4 and 5. Exhale, release. Okay, last bit of standing. Standing at the front of your mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, both feet to the front of the mat for chair pose. So you're bending at the knees and the hips. Inhale, your arms out. Flip the palms up. 5 breaths. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up halfway. Exhale, feet back. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling your right foot to the front of the mat. So your right knee is bent, hips are squared. Inhale, your arms out to the side. Flip the palms for warrior 1. Back leg is straight. foot is flat on the mat. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pivoting to the back of the mat, bending that left knee. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale the arms out. Your legs might want a wider stance for warrior 2. Looking over the left fingertips. Make sure you're not too far back or too far forward. We're right in the middle. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bending the right leg towards the front of the mat for the other side. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale your hands down to the mat, however you do. Still exhaling. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 deep breaths here. 1 and 2. Let's bring our knees to the mat. Ashtanga portion is done. Going into Yin now. So we're going to child's pose. Our legs will be together, feet are together. Just going back, sitting on our legs. Let's have our arms out in front of us. This is going to give us an opportunity to calm down. Let the breath come back to normal. Heart rate come back to normal. So we're just resting in this pose for about a minute, minute and a half. Just noticing our heart rate has probably slowed down. Breath is coming back to normal. Just taking a couple more breaths here. And let's come up to our hands and knees. So we'll be up in the table pose. So what I'd like to do today is get a back bend in, a mild back bend. And as you're doing this, just be mindful of any neck injuries. If you have a neck injury, you just might want to stay in child's pose and just adjust your hands. If there's any numbness in any of the hands or arms, back out of the pose. So this is going to be a back bend just using gravity in our mat. So instead of going into child's pose like we normally did, we're trying to keep our thighs and lined up. So we're not scooching too far back or too far forward. We're trying to keep them in line. We're just going to bring our elbows to the mat and then just reach your hands out. And so what the point of this is bringing the chest down to the mat. This is where you can use a block or a blanket. to rest your chest on, if that's comfortable for you. Or you can use the mat. So let's just start off nice and gentle and see how that feels. This is truly a back bend, a mild back bend. It stretches the upper part of the back and the middle of the back. So let's get comfortable into this position. You can have your head on the mat, or if you have a little bit of extra room, you can actually put your chin on the mat, reaching the chest towards the mat. Again, if you're feeling any tingling or discomfort in your neck, just go into child's pose. Make any adjustments your body needs right now. Taking a couple more breaths. And on an inhale, we'll slowly come up. Just taking your time. Let's just be on our table position with our hands underneath our shoulders. Our hips aligned up with our knees. Let's just rock very gently back and forth, our hips. Kind of wiggling out of this position. Pressing the chest down to the mat. Rising it up. Chest down to the mat. Feeling the shoulder blades press together, rising up. And exhale, we'll release. And just take a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds anyway, just to do whatever your body's calling for to come out of that stretch. Whether or not you want to bring your arm around, whatever your body feels like doing to counteract that pose. Ready, just come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. If you'd like, you could take your block or your blanket, and you could sit on your block or your blanket just to help you rise up a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit more comfortable for you. So we're just going to do a few neck rolls. We'll spend a lot of time on this, but we'll do a few neck rolls here, to get our neck adjusted a little bit from the pose that we just did. So just starting off in neutral, just bringing your head down to the right and just rolling it back and forth, nice and gentle, nice and slow, just feeling the stretch all along the back side of the right neck or the right side of the back neck. And then we'll just roll to the other side, this time feeling the left part of the neck muscle stretch. All the while breathing through the nose, nice deep breaths. Going to the other side. So your left ears towards your left shoulder. Getting the stretch on the right side of the neck. Couple more times. Nice gentle rolls. Left, right ear to right shoulder. Exhaling all the way out. Going to the other side. Big inhale. Exhaling all the way out. One more time. Nice and gentle. And just bringing your chin to your chest, so our head's in the middle. We'll take a few breaths here, getting a stretch all along the back side of the neck. Neck up. Take a couple of breaths here. One more deep breath in. Empty the lungs all the way out. Okay. Let's set up for our next pose. So you still may want to keep your block or your blanket handy. We're going into half butterfly. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our right leg straight. We're going to lengthen the back so your spine is straight. And just bring our left leg in, anywhere other than on your knee. Just a little bit above the knee. So make a couple of adjustments. And then on your inhale, we'll pivot the torso over our right leg, and then just gently fold over the right leg, any amount. If you have a block or a blanket, you can fold up that block, you can fold up the blanket or use your block to rest your head on. So our head tends to get heavy. Just want to relax everything, no pulling. Just relaxing our arms to our side. Taking a few breaths. Remembering to breathe, emptying the lungs, filling the lungs. Inhale, just gently come up, letting our head come up last. And just take a couple of breaths here. Any movement that you'd like to take to come out of that pose, take that now, because we will go to the other side. Ready. This time our left leg will be straight out in front of us. We'll fold our right leg in. So it's just above the knee, not on the knee. We'll take a deep breath in, lengthen and straighten the spine, and exhale, pivoting the torso over the left leg. Remember, no pulling or grabbing. Once you get to a spot, use your blanket or block to rest your head on. And let your arms flop to the side. Couple more breaths. And on your inhale, again, we'll slowly come up vertebrae by vertebrae, allowing the head to come up last. And again, just taking any movement just for a couple of breaths to counteract that pose. Now what I'd like to do, last bit of what I like to do in my class is a twist before Shavasana. So we'll go ahead and get comfortable and we'll lie down on our mat. And this time my twist is going to be a little bit different. Normally I have us bend at the knees, and if bending at the knees is more comfortable for you, you can bend at the knees and just let your legs flop over the side. But today I wanted to try something a little bit different. So we're going to have our legs straight out. And this time I'd like to bring our right leg just over our left leg and just pivot our hips towards the left. I need to make a little bit of an adjustment. Our arms are out to our sides like they are when our knees are bent. And our head will be facing in the opposite directions. Kind of notice there's a teetering. There may be a teetering where either your foot touches and your shoulder, your right shoulder comes off the floor, but that's okay. Just find the right spot for you. Close your eyes. And take a few breaths here. Just getting a nice twist in for our spine. Nice adjustment. One more deep breath in and exhale all the way out. You can uncross the legs. Bring your hips towards neutral. And whether or not you had your legs bent, we're going to bend them now. We're just going to grab our legs underneath our knees, nice and gentle, do a little rocking back and forth. And on your exhale, bring your feet to your mat. And if you had your legs crossed the last time, you'll probably want to do that again this time. Or you could bring your legs straight out. And just bring your left leg over your right leg. Arms are outstretched to the side with the palms facing the ceiling. And this time your head will go in the opposite direction towards the left. Nice deep breaths. One more deep breath in and exhale, bringing your feet to neutral. One last time, bringing our knees to our chest. Give them a hug. Let's do a rocking back and forth. One more deep breath in and exhale. Now we're setting up for Shavasana. So just make sure you're in a comfortable position. This is a very important part of the practice. This is the rest that you deserve. It's still a pose, but try not to skip over this if you can. So our feet are about mat width apart, resting out to the side. Our arms are by our sides with the palms facing the ceiling. Let's take a nice deep breath in and sigh it out the mouth. Inhale and sigh it out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and sigh it out. There's nothing left to do. No more breath pattern. Just time to relax. And I'll bring you back when it's time. Attention back to your resting breath. Maybe wiggling your toes or your fingers. Maybe rolling to your right side. But eventually coming to your mat in a seated position with your eyes closed. Just to not disrupt yourself or your attention, the inner peace that you just found. And just sitting at the front of the mat, taking your time. So just noticing here how you're feeling. If you're feeling anything different from when you first sat on your mat at the beginning of the class. Noticing if your breath feels more calm. Maybe your mind feels more calm. Maybe your body feels more relaxed. But know that something did change. Like to end the class with an optional om if you'd like. On an inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you for joining our class. And my dog just got up from his nap. Perfect timing, Milo. Perfect timing, Cal.